KENS 5 Eyewitness News at 10 starts now.
Happening now, a Bexar County deputy is at the hospital tonight after his cruiser was struck from behind. It happened at I-10 and Ralph Fair, where traffic is still backed up right now.
The deputy was working a separate crash and waiting for a tow truck when an elderly driver rear-ended him. The deputy was taken to the hospital to be checked out for possible head injuries. No one else was hurt.
Also tonight, fresh answers to the questions many of you asked last night about the special needs teen killed by police.
His mother told us her son had the mind of a second grader, so many wondered why someone wasn't watching him closer.
On the night he died, he was armed and had stolen a bike. Eyewitness News reporter Sue Kalberg now with more on the life and death of Dustin Castillo.
What would you like for people to know about your son?
Dustin was very special.
KENS viewers lit up Facebook with comments about the 19-year-old special needs teen killed by police 2 weeks ago on Loop 410. Many people ask if Dustin was so impaired and functioning like a second grader, what was he doing out on the streets all by himself, stealing a bike and attacking a police officer with a knife? And was it common for him to be by himself?
Not that late, he would be with someone.
But Castillo admits Dustin was not living at home.
He was staying with his girlfriend at the time.
Castillo says it was common to not hear from Dustin for days at a time.
He was coming in and out of the house.
So even though he had profound disabilities, he had a life.
He did.
Castillo says Dustin learned life skills at the NETS program with NEISD. And he had coping skills like riding the bus to the mall, riding a bike, and holding a simple job. Castillo says his death is a painful reminder about the need for constant vigilance.
Dustin has 4 siblings that are special needs.
Do you hold them closer now?
I do.
Meanwhile, the officer involved in the shooting remains on administrative duty while the investigation continues. Sue Kalberg, KENS 5 Eyewitness News.
Instrument flying for pilots tonight. Watch as this big airliner touches down at San Antonio International Airport. The fog thick this evening for pilots and drivers. Bill Taylor has our first alert. Bill?
Yeah, we haven't seen visibility improve all evening, Deborah, heading into the 10 o'clock hour, and we're still at half a mile at San Antonio International. In fact, it's one pocket of the city that's seeing the thickest fog. We'll go to the big board and show you that it's from 410 out 281, so right at the airport, but north into Stone Oak and areas north of even 1604. You can also see Lackland Air Force Base and out I-10 up into Fair Oaks and Bernie. Elsewhere, it's not too bad. I mean, most of this fog was confined to the city earlier, and it's still the case again tonight, where that visibility in San Antonio never getting better than half a mile. It's also pretty thick along the Rio Grande, south of Del Rio, even into Eagle Pass and Carrizo Springs. The radar's been pretty quiet. We kept most of the rain to the east this evening, but we still have a misty drizzle falling under mostly cloudy skies, with more rain building out to the west. Coming up, a huge drop in temperatures for Wednesday, winter weather watch up in North Texas, and we'll even talk about where there is a slight chance of sleet tomorrow morning.
Caught on camera, a shooting and a robbery has SAPD looking for 4 men. It happened Sunday at the Lux Student Housing Complex near UTSA. The suspects were also seen trying to kick down a door to one of the apartments. Police say they robbed 2 teens and shot one of them in the leg. Take a close look. If you recognize any of these men, please call Crime Stoppers. You know that number, 224-STOP. Well, you often see ads on Craigslist for people selling iPhones or collectibles, even cars, but to complete the transaction, you have to meet in person. And for many, those exchanges have turned dangerous. Eyewitness News reporter Addie Wahardo shows us the program that's bringing peace of mind to buyers and sellers. Addie?
The program is called Swap Spot and allows buyers and sellers to come right here to Leon Valley Police Department in a well-lit area where cameras are around the clock catching everything that's happening out here. Now, these surveillance cameras can help track down suspects and help prevent exchanges from turning dangerous like we've seen in the past. Back in December, the suspect you see right here allegedly robbed a man trying to sell his shoes at gunpoint. In another case, a man was beaten while trying to sell his iPhone and robbed. A resident tells me he had a bad experience himself and plans to use this swap spot for his own safety and his family's safety.
My family lives there. If I'm not home, I don't want them knowing where I live, what I have in my front yard, maybe what's in my house. And now that I have a baby here, I kind of want to make sure that everyone's safe.
Now, the swap spot is also meant for separated parents to meet in a safe place and exchange their children. Another feature the police department has included this emergency box. If something goes wrong during that exchange, they simply press this push for button help, and police are alerted and will come out here immediately to rescue that victim. Reporting live from Leon Valley, Addie Guajardo, KENS 5 Eyewitness News.
All right, Addie, thank you. Sounds like a great idea. Well, tonight, House lawmakers passed a bill to avoid another government shutdown. But the president suggested that might not be such a bad idea. Trump raised the possibility of closing the government down if he can't have his way on immigration. The House bill does not provide funding for the border wall or a fix for the DACA program. The Senate has until midnight Thursday to reach a deal with the House or face a second shutdown.
Also out of Washington tonight, President Trump has ordered the Pentagon to plan a grand military parade. The event would be similar to Bastille Day, held each year in Paris, which the President and First Lady attended last summer. The Washington Post reports tonight planning for a parade is already underway and that it could be held later this year.
Well, how long before you would cash in on a winning Powerball ticket? A New Hampshire woman who won $560 million in last month's drawing is still waiting. Instead, she's fighting with the state's lottery commission to remain anonymous. Now, the problem is she signed the winning ticket with her name before contacting a lawyer. The woman is now suing to keep her name private so she can, quote, go to the store just like an average person.
Sending out a call for help with nothing but your heartbeat.
It's technology that could save an officer's life, and it's being used right here in San Antonio.
And the major obstacle the Army is facing when it comes to finding new soldiers. Joe?
Jeff, the Spurs have head out on the road. It's the annual rodeo road trip. The difference this time, it's much more important than all the rest. We'll tell you why. And Nick Foles was special during the Super Bowl, but there's one thing he did that made him a little extra special.